When I was asked to come here and speak today, I kind of had to sit down and be honest with myself about what would really qualify me to get up here and ask you all to join us in the efforts behind Safe Passage. And I had to revisit my childhood, which was not an ideal childhood. I experienced watching my father punch my mother in the face on a daily basis. Watching domestic violence occur in the household does affect children. I believe it is a form of child abuse. When I became old enough to speak for myself, I also became subject to that abuse in a way that was detrimental to me as a teenager. Obviously, all teenagers are rebellious. Mine was kind of on a level 10, where I was replaying the abuse that was done to me out on other people. My final moment of abuse was at the age of 17, about 3 months into my senior high school year. I was choked by my father to the point of unconsciousness, and I reached out to the police, which is not something that is normal, and especially in African American homes, you are not to call the police on your parents. I did so because I had come to learn in school that I was a citizen, that I had rights, and I was wrong. There was no safe passage for me. Additionally, I became homeless at the age of 17 as a senior in high school because my mother, in her upbringing, believed that it was her job to stand behind my father. And I was a child, and I should have stayed in a child's place. I graduated from high school. I joined the U.S. Marines. I served 6 years in the Marines. I left the Marines honorably discharged. I went to college. I worked for the state of Minnesota for quite some time at the Department of Natural Resources, where I began to have interest in real estate. I currently work for Edina Realty, and I volunteer heavily in my community because I know that it is my purpose, that it is my duty, it is my civic duty to speak about my experience in hopes that other children who are experiencing the things that I experienced, or who have experienced the things that I experienced and have grown from it, can come together and can speak about it, so there's evolution. We often talk about how we want a brighter future, how we see Minnesota in the future. The future of Minnesota got up this morning, they put on their gloves, they put on their hats. The future of Minnesota is right now sitting in a classroom, and they're being taught that they have rights, and they're being taught that the world is going to be a better place for them. And we all, right here in this room and all around this country, we have a duty to ensure that we are putting forth the effort, and we're putting forth the resources, we're putting forth ourselves, so that should they have to call 911 and say, something happened to me, there will be a safe passage for them. There will be a safe place for them to have the things that they need, so that they don't have to go through these traumatic experiences alone, that they don't have to learn how to cope alone. It is my job to sell houses. I love it. But in my heart, I know when I sell a house to someone, what I really want is for it to be a home. I want the environment in the home to be a home. It is more than just selling houses. So I'm asking all of you today, and all of you tomorrow, and all of you for the future, to join Safe Passage, the initiatives that we are asking, for the resources that we are asking. And I thank you for inviting me to speak today. Thank you.